But okay. Well, how old are you right now? How old are you now?
37, which is
Thir-
kind of the joke because I thought I turned 38 actually in May, and that was actually
are you
37.
you
I
have
just
too many
lied.
numbers in your head.
Well, it's the way my dad said it is, you're getting old when you have to start doing math to remember how old you are. So you have to start like
Yeah.
taking the current year, subtracting your birth year. And because
Mhm.
I was born in 84, the math isn't always as simple as it was if it was a 5 or a 0, right? So that's
Right.
embarrassing. But that's why I keep one of these on my desk. So BA2 plus business calculator wherever I go.
One
Yeah, but
once
so
a
30,
year.
37.
Okay. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but 37 to me sounds like you're right in that sweet spot of, as a financial advisor, you've built quite a bit of experience. However, you're still young enough to where if somebody gets with you, right, there's kind of this hopeful expectation of, man, if things really click with us, there's the time to build that relationship
Oh,
and
yeah.
have that long-term relationship. You know what I mean? Have you felt that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my
Yeah.
age used to be the biggest problem
Mm-hmm.
for the first 5 years of my career because you are kind of experience irrelevant,
Yeah.
right? So you have to build your knowledge to such a level that you can like almost show off how much more you
Yeah.
know than somebody. That
Sure.
is totally burnt away over the years. Now my age is an extraordinary advantage. Our industry as a whole is the
Mm-hmm.
oldest industry on net of
Hmm.
major industries. And if you think about it, it makes sense. It's money. Baby boomers were the first generation that had to save for themselves. So most of their
Mm-hmm.
advisors are their age. And most of them are really, really good at financial planning and really, really bad at managing a business. So they have no succession plan for their business at all. And
Interesting.
because they've coached people on how to be good with money, they're usually good with it themselves. And therefore, most of
Mm-hmm.
them retire early or corresponding with most of their clients. Right? So,
Interesting.
what does that
Yeah.
mean? You've got a bunch of 55 to 65-year-old people who've worked with an advisor for 10 or 20 years, and their
Mm-hmm.
advisor is retiring before them or right around the same time as them. But guess what? You're not dead when you're 65, right?
Right.
You're going to
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
financial advice, particularly
Yeah.
with your life savings until you're probably
Mm-hmm.
85 or 90 or 95 years old. So,
Sure.
I mean, it's been an extreme focus of our team and our firm at large is
Mm-hmm.
our net age of our advisors, which is amongst the lowest in the industry. And it's very difficult because you have to
Mm-hmm.
basically hire people into a very difficult career with a very low floor and a very high ceiling, and you have to coach them into long-term success. But
Mm-hmm.
we are here for the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind that's going to occur over the next 20 years as this
Yeah.
generation of people who've saved all their own money for the first time ever, all of that is going to roll down in portion
Mm-hmm.
to their kids and grandkids. And those people don't want to hire their parents' 67-year-old advisor. I don't care how good they are at their
Right.
jobs. I would,
Yeah.
because I want the experience, right? But
Right.
the average 38-year-old kind of American dream family, that has two and a half kids, a white picket fence, and a dog, and the whole 9 yards, like that type
Right.
of person wants a peer for the most part, or someone who is just slightly ahead of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not someone who's going to retire and die in the next 5 to 10 years.
Right. Yeah. It's right. It's that balance, right? It's experience, knowledge, but also that long-term relationship. And what do you think the average ballpark range of clients you get usually? Are they in their 20s, 30s? What do you think?
No, I mean, our average referral is closer to their early 50s.
Really? I did not expect that.
Oh, yeah. But the reason for that is their decision making is much more critical at that point, right? So the sense of urgency is much
Mm-hmm.
higher, and their
Mm-hmm.
resources to bear are usually more also, right? So the cost
Mm-hmm.
involved with actually building a written financial plan, which is not free to do,
Mm-hmm.
is also usually a smaller percentage of their total assets as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like the cost benefit ratio is probably much higher for somebody
Mm-hmm.
that's in that position. And
Mm-hmm.
also, they have many more years of experience of not doing it right or the best to reflect on.
Mm-hmm.
When people are young, even their mistakes don't seem that critical. And I always feel like I can train myself and get better and improve and fix things over time, which is in part true, but is
Mm-hmm.
also very costly based on what we talked about earlier about the value of time, right? Actually,
Yeah.
if you don't make a lot of mistakes in your 20s, you're probably going to be financially independent by the time you're in your like late 40s. But if you goof around for 10 years and get into your 30s before you really buckle down in your finances, you're going to work till 60 like everybody else. That's the way it goes,
Right.
into your 60s. So that's where I think what the perspective is, I mean, in theory, it'd be amazing to have a bunch of young, emerging, affluent clients. And certainly we get some of those, right? But that generation, of which I am a part of, is also an extreme know-it-all generation, right? Because we have the internet, we know how to use the internet, and I can research and YouTube and read and figure anything out on my own, which is not untrue. Sure. But you have to have the discipline to not just do it once, but to do it over and over and over and over again for the rest of your life when it comes to your financial plan. It's not like I got really into doing like low and slow barbecue over quarantine because we had a bunch of time on our hands, right?
Great analogy. Yeah.
So like I YouTubed the living you know what out of that. And I've gotten pretty good at it with practice and all that. But that's like a technique skill that can be learned. It's not a lifelong discipline, right? Which having a financial plan is. So yeah, the kind of the most common people we get referred to, I'd say, is like mid-career plus to retirement transition, which are for sure the people we do the best work for because they're making huge decisions that are absolutely critical to get right. And then probably the lower third, I would say, of who we're referred to would be people that are prior to that situation and or the elderly who need help kind of getting organized prior to death and or people who are losing their faculties and their decision-making capability and need protection in a way, right? Either with the help of their children or with the help of a third party.
Right. So, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to check out the Standing Still podcast, both here on YouTube and wherever else you listen to podcasts.